truth, a slave, an abolitionist, a woman, a mom, and an advocate for women to have the right to vote.
And we covered that ceremony. 2 quick political questions. 15 House Republicans retiring next year.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I think it's an indication that the Republicans know that they'll probably be serving in the minority in the next Congress, and most likely with a Democrat in the White House. So I think maybe they think it's time to spend more time with their families.
Will you run for re-election?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm not making any political plans right now, but we'll just take it one day at a time. I intend to file. We have to file by December of this year, we have to file. So I'll be filing, yes.
So what's your message to voters? Why vote for a Democrat in 2020?
It's going to be a very exciting year, and the Democratic Party is the party of the future. It has been a party that has challenged the conscience of America, has been the source of more new ideas, more creative thinking about how to go into the future. It is the party of inclusion. Its diversity sometimes looks democratic, and that's a good thing. But if you care about the future, if you care about the future of our planet as a moral responsibility to future generations, if you care about fairness in our economy, which we must seriously address, you should vote Democratic. If you care about the respect for the dignity and worth of every person as a child of God, you should vote Democratic. It is something I'm very, very proud of. So it is about God's creation, really. The people, God's children, the land, God's gift to us, our future, which we all have a responsibility to. I do believe that the Democratic Party is the party that does honor the sacrifices and the vision of our founders in a very important way. A party that respects the sacrifices of our men and women in uniform by keeping that freedom strong in our own country, and a party that cherishes our responsibility to the aspirations of our children for the future. So I'm excited about all of our candidates for president. I'm so proud of them. And I think that we'll see who emerges, who connects with the vision for the future, knowledge of and respect for the hopes and dreams of people, of individual families, and a party that at the heart of it all, we are unified by our values to work for America's working families, for fairness and opportunity, for liberty and justice for all.
In one media question, because in Thursday's briefing, you had 9 or 10 questions on impeachment. I'm not going to ask you about impeachment, but do you get frustrated when you get asked about that?
No, I'm perfectly comfortable with it. Everybody is free to have their own point of view on it and their own timing on it. But I do know that as Speaker of the House, I have a responsibility to the Constitution of the United States, as do all of my colleagues who take that oath to protect and defend the Constitution. And we will follow the facts, and when the timing is right, we'll make our decisions as to how we go forth in relation to the facts and the law. But one thing I've said all along is no one is above the law, and this president will be held accountable.
In March, you went to the House floor, praised C-SPAN as we turned 40 years old, and you said you had stories to tell.
Well, what I was thinking of, which I was very amused by, is when young people come to the floor, when children come to the floor, they love being on TV. And each time I've been sworn in, you know, I'm surrounded by children. I have my own children, my own grandchildren, and now another crop of grandchildren this time. So when they come up to be with me when I'm sworn in, all the other children follow up. So one of the stories that I think is so funny is the children love to be on TV. And that's one of the reasons they come up there. So this year when I was sworn in as Speaker, but now I'm then going to swear in the other members. We're going to have the swearing in of the other members. I said to the children, you can go down now and be with your parents as they're sworn in. And they said, no, we're okay here. We're okay here. In full view of C-SPAN and television. I just think that it's just something so wonderful that the confidence and the comfort level that the kids have about being on TV and C-SPAN making all of that possible. It's just a good thing, I think.
And when you get away from the speakership, do you have time to read? Do you have time for books?
I love books. I love books. I love books. I mean, I love books. I know that I have a lot of books on my electronically, but I do love books. It's turn the pages myself. And one book that I've been talking about lately, I read it a long time ago, but I was, a year ago or so, but I was rereading it because at the Library of Congress they had a session with David Rubenstein and Walter Isaacson, who wrote the book about Leonardo da Vinci. So they gave me a chance to ask a question, and so I told them this story. In the book, Leonardo, he's very much considers himself like an engineer and that. In fact, he wrote a letter to the leader of Milan asking for a job and described his engineering skills and how he could do all these things that would be useful to the leader, especially in terms of any conflict, etc. And then at the end he said, I also paint. I also paint. But that's not the story. But in the story, because of his engineering interest, he talks, Leonardo, about impetus, and how that affects how you invent and all the rest. He talks about impetus. And so when I had my turn to have a question, I said, I want to talk to you, call to your attention, something I called to the attention of my colleagues. Leonardo talked about impetus. And then you might get friction, which is a waste of energy. So you've got to deal with that so you continue your impetus. And of course they said to me, now why would you be telling that to your members? Impetus, we don't want any friction, we'll deal with it, but we don't waste energy. We don't underutilize any resources, including the impetus we may have to make the future better.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi, we thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for yours.
Watch our exclusive interview with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi now